Welcome. Recently, I presented my new 1995 Ford Econoline conversion van, which will become my new home. Since then, I've been hard at work converting this crusty people mover into a proper living space on the cheap, along with performing some basic maintenance. Although there is still much to be done, I've reached the limits of my current budget, and the remaining pieces are, well, I figured this is a good point to give a tour of the current state of the van. Disclaimer, I am not good at IRL videos. Now, without further ado, welcome to the van.
I'm now locked in. This doesn't open from the inside yet, neither does this one. Well, you gotta open this one to open that one, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Despite being a high top, still cramped. Very short in here. Welcome to my humble abode. Last you guys saw this, you probably remember that everything was stripped out of the interior and it's down to just bare metal. I pulled some of the trim out, pulled a lot of the, basically everything out of here, and I just started from scratch. It had captain's chairs, it had carpet and everything like that, but I'm so glad I tore the carpet out of here because the carpet was moldy and nasty. So I started with bare metal, and in the space of about, I want to say 3 to 4 weeks, this is where I'm at now, and I honestly say, this is a good amount of progress. Now, obviously, there's still a lot of things that need to be done. There's no power, there's no water, there's no nothing like that because that's the expensive stuff and don't really have the money for that right now. But the furniture and everything is in here, at least for the most part. There's a second half of this kitchenette that I need to build, but wait until I can get the stove and the propane and everything figured out before I put that in because I don't want to build it around dimensions I see online, buy it, and then it ends up wrong. But the first part of the kitchenette is done. The bed's done, the bed frame is done, the desk is done. There's some things I need to add to the desk, but ignore that. There's flooring in here. I do not recommend using this cheap vinyl flooring though. As you can see, I had to nail it down. The adhesive on here did not stick very well. Let me give you guys a little bit of a tour of where I'm at right now. And yes, I have been living in here actually. I've been sleeping in here and just kind of hanging out, spending most of my time in here. It's a little bit dirty and a little bit disheveled, but you know, it's good enough for a tour, so let's start. So this is an old entertainment center that my buddy gave me that was just sitting in a shop taking up space. And I mean, it's rough, it's not perfect, it's an older cabinet, but honestly, I think it's the perfect base to start with. I put a little countertop on top of it. This is just some scrap wood that I glued together and sanded down. It's not going to be a food prep surface. I'm going to put a cutting board on top of here. I wouldn't trust to put food directly on top of this. But you know, it gives me a nice surface to work with. This is going to be the start of my sink. This is a little pan I picked up from a thrift shop for about 50 cents. It's not very deep, but I don't have a lot of space underneath of it. So this will have to just do for now. I meant to put a backer on here, but I couldn't find a piece of wood that fits, so I'll probably have to do that later, and I'll just glue it in. It doesn't need to be structural. These cabinets down here, split in half, so that way they open up in the tight space that I got. Along with this cabinet here that's going to hold all my clothes and everything like that. Will fit right there. I got this little box in like a little Jack Link's Christmas package, you know, the $20, I don't know what to get you, so here's something that I think you'll like for $20 that I picked up at Walmart. And I was grateful, I did like jerky, but it came with this nice wooden box. And I've actually been using the box to store, you know, just random junk forever, but it ended up working out being the perfect little bread box, and it is fixed in place, it's not going anywhere. You slide this little top, and you got all this storage in here. You know, just got a lock and some nails, but you know, it'll fit a half loaf of bread and some other random junk. I'll probably end up putting a drawer here, so that way I can, you know, have my silverware and everything like that, and have a little tabletop that comes out on top of it, you know, and flip it up. Because I have eaten in here, and having to lean over onto this surface is kind of annoying, and having something to pull out to me would be really, really nice. I've got these curtains in here. I just got some longer blackout curtains and then cut them to length. Took one end, would put them up, and then flipped it upside down and used the other end on the other side. These curtain rods are actually tent poles out of an old tent that was in the van. I didn't want to use the old tent because I don't know what it was ever used for, and you know, if it was clean, and I could have cleaned it and used it, but I really didn't want anything to do with it. So I just took the tent poles out and threw the rest away. And they actually ended up working out perfectly. They're nice and rigid, and they fit perfectly. I ended up doing that for almost every window in here except for those. because I want to keep those curtains, but then the blackout curtains will not fit in there. Obviously, there's overhead storage that came with this van. It's not very deep, but you know, it could hold spices and whatever else I might have. I might take the rest of these and put them in here, though. This was completely blocked off. There's no access to this, and I ended up cutting just a chunk of this out and putting this cabinet door in, and then just laying a rug in there. You know, I filled in the gap with some just scrap wood and whatnot. Put this rug in, and it provides perfect overhead storage. There's a paper towel holder I need to put in. I built this to go on top of everything, just to use up this space. I put this elastic string in there, so stuff that gets put in here can't just slide out. Obviously, it won't work with plates, and what I'll probably do is I'll put plates in a pocket on the side. Haven't quite decided yet. And I've driven around, and stuff doesn't even really move in here with this anti-skid stuff. Even if it did, it's just going to hit the string and then bounce right back in. The stove will be here. I'm going to put a piece of metal here to protect this all, keep this from catching fire or melting or whatever. It does have a thing that lifts up and protects this backside, so I'm not too terribly worried about it, but just an extra piece of caution. The propane tank will be accessible from the outside and the outside only. It'll be sealed on the inside. And I will still have a propane alarm, you know, in case it's leaking. But for the most part, it should be completely sealed and vent to the outside. I don't know where I'm going to fit a mini fridge. Until I get those two things built, I don't have an idea of how much space I'll have left to fit a mini fridge. And so what I'll probably do is I'll probably put one in the center console there. I'll probably put a little 12-volt mini fridge in the center there that folds open. And it'll be nice and out of the way, and I can still access it while I'm driving, you know, grab myself a soda or a road beer or something like that. The vinyl that I put on the floor, I tried to put on the ceiling where this was all exposed, and it didn't stick at all. So I put some nails up, but even the nails weren't holding it that much in place. It kept sagging. So I took my little poster that I printed off that you guys can't really see because of the glare, and just screwed it up there, and that's my new ceiling. For this section here, you can see it's still sagging, and I should probably put some extra nails in it, but whatever. Ignore this cut job. I was really curious to see what was up there before I put the cabinet door in, and now it's just staring at me. I might take some wood putty and fill that in and then put like a weather station here or something just to hide that. This is a normal twin-size bed. A lot of people suggested I use like a 3-piece bed or a futon. I'm glad I went with none of those and just decided to put just a fixed bed into place, because I would hate to have to try to fold everything up and put it away and then fold up the bed and everything every single day, morning and night. So just having a bed just ready to go whenever is perfect. Now I need to get some different sheets because these are full and queen size blankets and everything like that, and it's just hell to put these all together. As you can see, I didn't even bother from last night. I just threw them on and called it good. And there is underside storage under the bed. I ended up taking the light bezel from the roof and actually fitting it down as a fascia on here to hide the ugly pallet wood that I used to build this. Yes, I used heat-treated pallets. You don't have to tell me, I already know the whole chemical thing. Now, I can lift this bed up, and it's kind of a pain with a camera in my hand, so let me... Now, the bed does lift up, and then I have storage underneath. So, on this side will probably just be random miscellaneous storage. I just got dust in my eye. Just random miscellaneous storage, and on this side will be where Nutter's box is. So I'm going to build a sealed box to go on this side, and then the batteries and everything for the van will be on that side in a separate compartment. So it'll keep everything, you know, nice and compact, and I'll still have a whole side just for storage on my, you know, own random junk. On my pack out box, I'll have all my tools and everything on the other side, and this works out perfectly. This is heavy, so I'm going to put this down now. Which brings us to our next subject, the desk area, or the workspace. I have my one monitor up. My 32-inch monitor would not fit. I mean, it kind of fit, but it was such a tight fit that I wasn't really comfortable with it. So I'm going to get another 27-inch monitor and put it in. Probably just get the same exact one here, or if I can find like a curved 27-inch monitor, that would be nice. I've got my drawing tablet. It sits a little bit high right now, but I can lay this down, and I can also raise this up another, you know, say about 2.5 inches. And then everything fits out underneath here. I still don't have a chair here. Once I do, I'll end up getting a rolling chair and then just have straps that hold it into place while I'm driving. And that'll hold this drawer in place also. Because this thing has shot off and hit the door and gotten all bent up and everything. I've had to fix the rails on and out, you know, 2 or 3 times. I'm going to build a box for my computer to sit in. It will fit under here, but I also wanted to have a little bit of padding underneath, so that way as it hits a bump, it doesn't just get shocked. I ended up finding this desk at a thrift shop for about $40, and it had a top and everything on that. I just took it off and slid it right in, and it works perfectly. And it's hard mounted to the bed, so it's not going anywhere. It's very rigid. A lot more solid than my old desk, as anybody might remember. Every time I pounded my desk, it sounded like glass shattering. This is a lot more solid. And while I was at the thrift shop, I found this. Now, why wouldn't you like that? I ended up keeping the old cup holders out of the old interior. They just kind of slid right into their space, and it cut a hole in the desk to fit this in there. That holds all my pens and everything like that. And they don't move around or anything while I'm driving. It works out perfectly. So I'm happy with that. I can only fit one. I wanted to fit two, but that'll be fine. As we get up here, this is going to be Nutter's little nook. It had been nice storage, but honestly, I want him to have his own space besides, just a litter box and whatnot. So he likes being up tall. He likes being up high, so this will be a nice space for him to sit in. I'm going to build a box so that way he doesn't get access to the whole thing back there. A little bed and maybe a little light for him and, just somewhere where he can sit. The storage on this side is pretty deep. It goes back there pretty far, about a foot. I just got random junk in there now. I'll end up organizing things later. And then I got one blackout curtain. I got to get a second one, but this goes all the way across. And when I get two, it should hide what's all going on back here. It does get pretty dark in here with all the curtains closed, besides these two curtains that really don't hide anything. As far as the van itself goes, this thing has been kind of a pain in the ass, but I've recently just finally got it fixed. When I got it, it was running fine, but it started developing a misfire, and it, cut and, spit, and be very, just run like shit. Especially in overdrive, and so it was either something to do with fuel or something to do with spark. I changed the fuel filter, which had never been changed, by the way, and it didn't really fix the issue. It kind of idled a little bit better, but it didn't fix the issue. So then I got to pulling spark plugs, and my goal was to just pull them and clean them up. That quickly changed because these things were the original spark plugs that came with the van. One of them even just snapped in half when I pulled it out. So, new spark plugs, it's running much better. The rear end sounds a lot better now that it's been rebuilt. The brakes work a lot better now that it's been done. The PCV valve was completely shot, and Ray had sent me that, along with a transpan filter, which I'm sure I'm going to have to pay back somehow. But other than that, it's been running great. I've been running around, driving around, just trying to get some miles on it and give it a feel, feel it out. Going on little ventures and whatnot, but I think it's to the point where I might be able to trust it for long journeys. I don't want to say for sure until I can get it out and drive it around a little bit more, but I'm getting more and more comfortable with it. I'm getting a little bit happier with it every time I go out. So, it's working. It's nice. I'm kind of excited. My goal is to get on the road by the end of April. Now, I probably won't have everything, power and whatnot, because, like I said, that shit's expensive, and I don't have that money right now. But, if I can have some, basic amenities, being able to cook, being able to, use the sink and whatnot, I can have my laptop and a portable power supply and, do some small things. I want to get my big computer set back up, though, because I want to play Pacific Drive. I have it on my library, and I've been wanting to play it forever, but I can't play it, and it won't work on the laptop because the laptop is just not powerful enough. We'll get there eventually, somehow.
A few people have asked where I plan to go and how long I plan to live in the van. I have some family matters to attend to throughout the early summer in Wyoming and Colorado, but after that, I plan on just road tripping around wherever. I want to road trip historic Route 66, both coasts, visit Miami where my little side comic project is based, and wherever else the road takes me. As for how long I plan on living like this, I don't know. I haven't really planned beyond now, and I may end up just upgrading later. Or I may end up hating it and give up after a year. Only time will tell. Thank you to everyone who's sticking around, all the channel members and patrons supporting the channel throughout this rough patch. Especially this psycho. Stickers should be going out to you guys soon. If you want to help support this project, feel free to join the members tab or the Patreon, or you can donate directly if that's more your thing. Everything will be going towards the next step in finishing up the van. Until next time. After your shitbox in the sand. Absolutely. Oh, fuck! That thing came out of nowhere! Oh my god! We're not in good shape. Oh, fuck! We've lost so much!